Now it's time to watch a film. By watch film, I mean we've watched a film. It's time to talk about a film. A little bit of a difference there in terms of vocabulary and language.
Which is hard.
It's very hard.
Mm-hmm.
We watched a film and we're going to talk about it.
It's true.
Today, here on episode 283 of the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Owl and Ladium. If you said hello, it did not pick up on Discord.
It didn't pick up?
No.
Okay, do I need to say hello again? Hello,
Say
everyone.
hello again.
Hello.
Yeah, there you go.
Hello. Discord, please.
That's the great thing about Discord is when it's just like, I don't want to pick up what you say. I'm just like, I sure, maybe you said something there.
Zoom,
Who knows?
Why did you have to make us pay money? We're not paying you money, Zoom. Get it together.
Did they ever get backlash for that?
I don't know. They should have. I mean,
They should have.
we can't go 40 minutes. What do they think we are?
We were the one people who were like having multiple hour-long Zoom calls, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna put it into this.
Stop this.
Gotta put a stop to this real quick. Need you to pay money."
Hundreds of dollars.
And we're like, no.
No, absolutely
No,
not.
thank you.
Pass. We will find alternatives, even if the alternative is not good either.
Yeah.
We might have to keep looking.
Anyways, that's our tangent for today. We watched a film that came out this year called Bubble.
Bubble
tea. It's not bubble tea, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Which would have been very funny.
It would
It's
be
called Bubble.
Mm-hmm.
It is an anime film that you can find on Netflix. Because that's where it got put out worldwide, not worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
Dale, indeed. This film debuted at the Berlin International Film Festival on February 10th, 2022, and then was released worldwide on Netflix on April 28th, 2022, and then came out in theaters on May 13th, 2022 in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this anime film was produced by Wit Studio, who have done such things as they were the original team who worked on Attack on Titan.
Oh.
You might know that. They are currently co-animating Spy Family with Cloverworks.
Oh.
So there's some things that they have done. This was directed by Tetsuro Araki, who worked on such anime series such as Death Note, High School of the Dead, which, yeah, and then he also worked on Attack on Titan.
Okay.
The first 3 seasons of that. It was written by Gen Urobuchi, who probably most famously is known by a lot of anime fans as being the series composer, not composer. He wrote like Madoka Magica. He wrote Fate Zero. He wrote Psycho-Pass. So stuff like that has kind of like a lot of like psychological aspects to it, which is not really found here.
Fine too.
It's a little bit different. And then the music was composed by Hiroyuki Sawano, who has done a lot of like work on more modern Gundam series. He also has like his own like music group that he does music for and all that sort of stuff. What else? He did work on Attack on Titan as well. He was the composer for that.
Wild.
They just got the band back together. Like, hey, you guys aren't doing the last season, so you guys can go do this now, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
So he did that. What else? Oh, he was also the composer for Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Oh.
Or Cross, whatever you want to call it.
Ooh.
So some interesting things here and there.
And I guess there's a character designer too.
Yeah.
He worked on Death Note.
Yep.
Oh boy. Okay.
It's an interesting group of folks that they brought together for this film, and it feels like it's not like what any of these people had previously worked on.
No, not at all. It's wild.
Like, you look at everything else they had worked on, it's like, all right, I kind of have an idea of what they would do, and then you get to this, and it's like, that's not exactly what I was expecting.
No, that is not anything like any of the other stuff.
No, it's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, like it's always a good thing when you have variety in your life.
Hmm. This is also there's an English dub along with the Japanese dub as well. Both have pretty like
Insane
good
cast.
casts for both sides,
Yep.
um, which is a cool thing to see.
Yes. Yeah,
So basic. Oh,
I
go
watched
ahead.
it in English, and I was gonna say the
Yeah.
dub is really good. And I yelled at you immediately because I was like, "Yo, you're gonna like this because I say Makoto correctly."
You were right. I heard that. I was like, all right, let's go.
Because
Let's
it's the
do
first
the
time I've ever
thing.
heard it said properly.
Yes.
But they did it. They said her name in the correct way. So good job. But yeah, the English dub cast is just disgustingly good.
It's really good.
Really good. They got some heavy hitters there.
Hmm.
Dang.
For sure. So yeah, this film is essentially, hey, do you like The Little Mermaid? What if we did another take on The Little Mermaid? I like how Discord is making you go S.
I'm saying yes, yes.
I know you were saying yes, but it kept just sounding like S.
Yes. Discord, why?
Discord's garbage. That's why.
Ugh.
But yeah, they very much pull from The Little Mermaid in this. Mostly like the original story,
The
not like the
original Little Mermaid.
Disneyified version of it.
Mhm.
So a little bit different if that's the version you're used to compared to the original and everything. But yeah, it's all set around like a post-apocalyptic Tokyo that's been abandoned essentially because of bubbles coming down from the sky and causing an explosion at the Tokyo Tower, and it's like engulfing this section of Tokyo in a giant bubble. And everyone's just like, I don't know, what are these bubbles come down here for? We still don't know. It's very confusing. And now young hoodlums sneak into this non-residential area to do parkour challenges, essentially.
Oof.
Which is very funny.
Yeah, the youth out here doing mom's dead parkour.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're not wrong.
Oh man, in order to survive. Because they win like Coke and stuff for winning.
Yeah, I was
Like-
very surprised when they showed off like Coca-Cola, like actual Coca-Cola in there, because I thought it was just gonna be like,
Yep.
we're just kind of faking this, but then it was like, here's Coca-Cola and
Nope.
Sprite.
No, that says Coke and Sprite.
I was like, huh, all right.
Okay. Well, I guess that. Yep. All right.
You got that license for it for sure.
Yeah.
It's always a fun thing to see in anime movies. It's like, all right, what what licensing deals did you make so you could sneak in to this film and make it so it does not seem super obvious that you're getting paid for this?
Although I do like it when you have the fake ones and they're just like the stupidest names.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that. But this was just, yeah, Coke definitely was like, here, have some monies.
Have some Coca-Cola when you win your parkour race. But yeah, a lot of this movie hinges around the fact that like there's these parkour challenges, like you said, where these teams go against each other to play like essentially a game of capture the flag throughout this wild urban environment that's been decimated and is full of decay, and just like if you fall in the water you're eliminated, but also like there's parts of the water that can suck you up and just basically kill you.
Yep.
Which is very wild. And like you mentioned, they basically do this to win like, goods so they can survive longer in this area that they're not supposed to be in, essentially. And there's like one science lady who's there trying to like study everything to see if like she can figure out what exactly is happening here and everything, or like find some cause of it, or just something.
Makoto.
Yeah. And she kind of like hangs out with this one team, the Blue Blazes, which is where our protagonist is. He's a kind of aloof kid who just doesn't like really hang around with the rest of the group, but is like really, really good at parkour and like can do like all these moves that none of the other kids can do and all that sort of stuff. So
he
like
can
he's
actually
like,
bounce off the bubbles themselves,
yeah,
whereas
he's
a lot
the
of them
ace
can't
of
do
the
that.
team.
Yep. but he's
but he
also
just
just antisocial.
yeah, very much so. I thought it was very funny that one of the kids on this team looked like Naruto,
Yes. Yes.
and they also Naruto run in it. No, so I was like, that's funny.
They
Like he
they
has like
do
the
do the
original,
run.
he has the original like Naruto goggles he has at like the very beginning of the series.
Really?
I was like, that's funny.
Um that's Usagi, right?
Yes,
He's a little he's what's the word I'm looking for?
the Munchkin.
He's a munchkin, yes. But I was thinking more that he's just like less careful
Yeah,
with everything. He's just kind of like,
he's a daredevil,
there you go. Whoa, we're gonna do this
fearless.
thing until he falls in the water. In which case he's like, oh god, one
They're
fear,
basically just like, look, you gotta start fearing things, kid. You can't be doing all that reckless stuff.
one fear, one fear,
No fear. Falls in the water. One fear.
one fear. Oh man. Also as a side note, just because we had mentioned Makoto, she does the thing that a lot of people do, and I don't know why people do it, but I don't even have big ones. But sometimes when you're like on a desk, you'll like use the desk as a boob shelf,
Mm-hmm.
like a little boob holder. She totally
Yeah.
does that. She has a little
She very much
ball.
does.
Yep. She's like, let me just put these on here so they can be held while I'm on my little ball.
My giant ball that I have to use as a chair because we can't really have chairs in this boat.
Nope.
We don't want to fall over, even though we'd fall over on the ball as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a thing that people do for like core support.
Yeah. So yeah, like we said, a lot of this just is the first half of this is revolving around like these parkour tournaments, just kind of like letting you get to know the characters and everything. We see Hibiki like talk about how he hears a song coming from Tokyo Tower and like he sneaks off and goes there to try and find it, and then gets sucked up and nearly drowns before getting saved by Mystery Girl. Spooky.
I love that Makoto's like, I can hear the song again. He ran off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's out here trying to die, and this gal's like, no, I'm gonna smooch you some life.
And he gets some life.
Yes, he's alive again, and now
So
there's
he
a
got-
girl.
He comes back to the boat and brings this girl with him, and the girl just like doesn't talk. She's very just like rambunctious and curious about everything. They're like, is she like a cat or something? This is real weird. What is happening with her? So they have to
Yeah.
like,
Crazy outfit.
yeah, and they have to like teach her to be human essentially,
Hmm.
and like how to communicate with everyone, and like how to like not break social norms and all that sort of stuff. They eventually name her like Uta,
Uta.
and also train her to do parkour because she's good at it.
You know, gotta do some parkour while you're here.
Parkour. She also like helps Hibiki kind of like open up more towards people because like it gives him a chance to kind of like reflect on how he came to this area and everything, like what happened to him on the day when everything essentially changed and all that sort of stuff, and like his own past and all that stuff, and also dealing with his hearing disability and everything like that. So it gives him this new opportunity to like really kind of understand himself and essentially kind of understand everyone else as well.
Yeah, he takes her to like this one spot that he's like, yeah, I don't really show people this, and he even says to her like pretty blatantly, like, this is the most I've ever opened up to somebody about who I am and what I do, and he like takes the headphones off around her, which I guess she doesn't talk, so he doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah. But they eventually kind of go into like his hearing stuff about how he's like he hated being in like the city and like all the noises would just super overwhelm him, and like he had to get like these essentially like ear protectors that would help him kind of alleviate that. And like his mom kept taking him to doctor after doctor after doctor to see like, okay, what's wrong with him, why is he like this and everything, including like
Is he like this?
I mean, like, I guess that's the way that they would probably describe it, but like,
No, it's just funny because I ask the boys all the time, why are you like this?
yeah. So you see him going through like a lot of like hearing test kind of things, like the BP ones and all that sort of stuff, like you would do in like elementary school and all that sort of stuff. And then they also give him like an MRI, which like freaks him out.
Yeah. To be fair, MRIs are terrifying.
I have never had one, so I could not
Don't
relate to
don't
that. But it was
don't.
very much a thing where he's like he could hear like all the machine whirring and all that sort of stuff, and it's like he was just like ah.
It's like shaking, which is bad
Yeah.
because you're not supposed to move.
Yeah.
But yeah, MRIs are terrifying. Don't get any unless you have to.
But like essentially, I guess they figure out what's wrong with him. I don't know if they actually do or not, but like eventually his mom just like dumps him off in this place where I guess other kids with hearing problems are, and then just abandons him, I guess. That's the way
Yeah,
they kind of make it sound like.
it's very confusing as to what actually happens there because like he's there and like he doesn't really talk about his mom after that.
No.
So it's like, did she just like peace out with this kid because he has hearing sensibility, like sensitivities? Like, that's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was about, but I guess we're just not really supposed to know a whole lot about that.
It's just weird that you would go through all that trouble of like sending him to multiple doctors and doing all of those tests, and then like once you find out allegedly what it is, just be like, nope, I'm done.
I wonder if it's like a special school type thing that they have in Japan,
It could be.
like some kind of like boarding school type thing.
Maybe, but like the way it looked like it was just like more like a daycare type thing.
That's what it looked like to me too, was a daycare, but I'm just trying to justify what happened and I have no idea of like
Yeah.
I don't know, she might just be a terrible mom that's like, I don't want to have to deal with this. Goodbye.
Because the way they show her right before she leaves is like there's like this darkened look on her face, which makes it seem like she's just like giving up kind of thing, but
Yeah.
they don't really discuss it really afterwards, so this is kind of left on the wayside. I do like how there's a girl in the Tokyo Tower when like right before the explosion happens,
Hmm.
because he talks about how he was there with like the rest of his class or whatever, in a fake Dennis Rodman jersey.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, it's very clearly one, but it's like the name's just like changed to prevent for copyright or whatever reasons. But yeah, it's very much the '91 Bulls jersey.
I did not notice that.
I was like, that's very funny.
Of course I didn't notice that, but I definitely did not notice that.
But yeah, we get into a little bit of that, and I feel like this is the part where like we get like the split in the movie where like the first half is like relative, like it's fine, like
Yeah.
it's setting everything up and all that sort of stuff, gives you like the motivations for the characters and all that, and it's okay. The back half of this film, it really just kind of goes off the rails in ways that I'm just like, some of this just seems real unnecessary. Like there's the whole thing with the other parkour group, the Undertakers,
Yep.
where like they're crafty because they use these boot jet things, and
They're the sponsored team.
they're sponsored. They're also live streaming these matches and calling them death games. So they're the villains now. It's just like, why?
Yeah.
Why was this necessary? And then they kidnap Makoto, and it's just like, why?
Yeah, none of that made sense and none of it was really important or significant or ultimately it didn't matter.
No.
The only thing that did matter was knowing that they had those sweet boots.
Essentially, yeah, that's kind of it. And then it was just like, all right, you lost, so now sucks to suck. Loser, you're a loser.
I mean, I guess the only thing that it really does is like it shows them working as a team in terms of parkour, him, Hibiki and Uta.
Also, the
And-
rest of the team as well. Like, he is really showing like how he's kind of
Actually working with them. And then it also shows that like she turned into the bubbles on her
She
arm.
loses her arm, yeah, because she touches him.
Yeah.
To
So
go
I
get
guess
the
those
flag.
are like the big things are water boots, losing the arm, and teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that plot is about, I guess.
Yeah.
Woo!
Woo.
Woo!
And then like he figures out like that her arm is missing because she's just trying to hide it the whole time. And then also like she's being called back by the bubbles to come back home essentially or something. It's weird. And then she leaves, and then the bubbles start happening again, and then he has to go save her.
The water level like starts going up quite a bit, and
Mm-hmm.
everything's going nuts with the boat.
Because Makoto realizes that like there's been like these gravity anomalies that have been occurring ever since Uta made her appearance. Like it's just been like weirder in ways that it hadn't been before, and like she's like, oh, it's been happening since this day. That's strange. Why could that be?
Wow, I have no idea.
Yes. But yeah, Hibiki has to go and save her, and the rest of the parkour boys go with him to help him out and all that sort of stuff. And like the old dude who, not
Keith
old dude,
Silverstein.
yes, Keith Silverstein, the older guy who like, he like manages the competition or whatever, but he's like kind of like the official for it.
Mm-hmm.
Goes and helps him as well, and shows off his prosthetic leg that he got, I guess, from going to the tower as well.
Ends up shattering it at one point.
Yeah.
Which was whoa.
And then he also yeets Hibiki into the tower to go find her, and also Hibiki finds in the tower like this time stopped version of like what happened before the explosion, which is also real strange.
Yeah.
But he realizes that like, oh, Uta was there. She was the one who called out to me then, and then boom, explosion. And he has to fight through the red bubbles to go find and save her. And she basically sacrifices herself to save him and save everyone else and the rest of the world.
Instead of becoming sea foam, she becomes bubbles.
Yep, just like the Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid. You get like the whole like scene with the like tiny island thing that they're on, where she's just like laying down, looking at him, just bubbling, and he's like super sad about it. She just kind of like bubbles off of the edge.
Yeah.
He's like, well, all right, I guess you're just goo now.
Goo. She's also like, I'm glad to met you. You made me feel human. I'm glad we got to experience this. Bubbles.
Bubbles.
And then after that, you see, because of what happened, the bubble encasing Tokyo breaks,
It
so
pops.
people are kind of go in and out now. So there's less danger there. They're starting to like reconstruct Tokyo back to, or try to make it what it was, but the kids are still doing their parkour stuff. And Hibiki also feels like he still is able to have like this connection with Uta, despite her not really being there. That's kind of it. It's a movie.
It's a movie. I have a few things that I wanted to make sure we talked about. One, the fact that there are several disabilities in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have Keith Silverstein's character with the prosthetic leg.
Mm-hmm.
You have Hibiki with his hearing sensitivity. I mean, at one point you technically have Uta who is missing an arm. But it's kind of rare that you see that much disability in like a film like this and for main characters.
Right.
I was like, huh. All right. I could take that. That's acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Some of this movie's weird, but like that's cool.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring that up because I was like, huh. Then.
Mm-hmm.
That's neato.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope that he got a new fancy leg. I think they probably show it, but I don't remember seeing it. But since the bubble popped, I'm sure he could get a really nice leg now.
You'd hope so. I don't think he wants to be balancing on one leg all the time.
No, he's just kind of hopping around.
Boing, boing.
Boing, boing, like he shattered his leg. Wilden. That's what happens when you yeet children.
It's true. That's the warning you should take from this film. Don't yeet children. Your leg will shatter.
Oh, man. Also worth mentioning that this film is beautiful.
Yes.
It is so pretty. It is so, so pretty.
It's really just nice to look at. It's got a lot of great animation. I do like the still images they'll kind of change to where like it feels like a more retro
Mm-hmm.
art style,
Yeah.
but still feels very like evocative of the film and everything. Like the character designs themselves even have kind of like this retro feel to them that you don't really see in a lot of like more modern anime in
Like
particular. But
Naruto.
like Naruto, yeah, exactly. Retro anime.
Yep.
But like it works so well. Like those like the way they're able to kind of like switch in between those styles at a whim, and it just still works. I thought was really really well done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that is kind of the one thing you will take away from this film in and of itself is that like man, it's a pretty thing to look at.
It is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also made the comparison to you about this film with Weathering with You.
Yeah.
Um, because I feel like the ending sequences are kind of similar in the sense that like you have the opportunity that someone may or may not need to be sacrificed, quote unquote, in order to make things go back to normal for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I still feel a little bit salty about the fact that it was like extremely selfish for him to just be like, no, I refuse for you to go away. Like, I'm just gonna make Tokyo die. In Weathering with You. And this one, like,
Don't really have a choice.
yeah, I mean, there's not really a choice, but like she accepts that that's what she's gonna do, and he respects that. Like he's
Yeah.
upset about it, but like he's not telling her she can't do it.
He also read The Little Mermaid.
He also read The Little Mermaid. He's the prince.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I guess that means that he gets to be with somebody else down the line, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that's what I was thinking when I finished watching this. I was like, this is how I wanted that one to end, honestly, and
Yeah.
it didn't. So at least this one like did better with the landing.
Yeah, I would say so.
Other than like the weird Undertaker subplot.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like the back half of this film just got weird in a way that I was just like, eh. A lot of this just feels real unnecessary. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess you need some conflicts here and there in a film, but like, I don't know if this was it.
I think they could have done more with the whole like time bubble stop thing
Right.
rather than spending so much time on the Undertaker people.
Yeah.
Because, like, that was actually pretty cool. I'm like, all right, there's like this weird stop time with him as a child just stuck in Tokyo Tower. And, like, they just kind of gloss over that a little bit. They're like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know. Maybe spend some time on that. Maybe.
I mean, it's more interesting than just here's villain group who does bad things.
That inexplicably talks with her hand.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about. We even see her face later on. So like she exists.
Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yeah, there are several question marks I walked away from with this movie. Is there anything else that I feel like I needed to talk about?
I don't know, is there?
I don't know. Like I told you about my realization, but I don't know if that's really something that I want to talk about. Anyway, is there anything you want to talk about the movie?
I'm trying to think, but I don't think so. Not that I can remember. It's a movie.
It's a movie.
It is a movie.
It is a movie. Like I don't know. It was totally worth the like what hour and a half watching it.
100 minutes.
I definitely was not mad walking away from it, which
Yeah.
just happened with other movies. It's like that was fine. It's not something that I would be like, wow, this is like the greatest movie. It's life changing. But like,
Right.
it was a fun movie to watch.
Do you think it's helped more because it's based around The Little Mermaid and you like that story?
Probably. I mean, like I'm a big fan of any and all versions of The Little Mermaid for the most part. So like, I wasn't really mad about the fact that this is totally just The Little Mermaid. I was trying to explain to my mom. I was telling her about this movie, because I was talking about the hearing sensitivity thing. Um, I was like, yeah, I'm trying to explain this plot. I was like, Mom, it's The Little Mermaid. She's like, oh, well, that makes sense. Like, yep, yep. It's just a given at this point. Everybody's like, oh, Little Mermaid, yeah, you're into it. Of course you are. Um, but it was a nice take on the whole idea of The Little Mermaid.
Mhm.
Like even to the point that like they're having to teach her like she doesn't have a voice to begin with. They like teach her how to do that. They teach her how to like be a human. They give her like her own mug on the boat. Um, they teach her like don't smush eggs. That's bad. So like it's reminiscent of a lot of the normal things you would see in like a Little Mermaid story of like how do we have somebody who's coming from a completely different environment and putting them into this, and they have to learn to adapt while also having the whole like love at first sight thing.
Right.
This is Little Mermaid. I don't know. I mean, like you're probably not as into Little Mermaid. Do you think that that made a difference to you?
I mean, not really, but it was just like interesting to see how they kind of use that and apply it to this story
Right.
without just making it like a just
Copy
straight
paste.
copy paste or just like an adaptation of it, but it's like you know, a big influence, I guess you would say.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, it's very, very obvious. I mean, they even name drop it. Like, it's very obvious this is the Little Mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which is fine. Like even to the point that she like calls the bubbles at the tower like her sisters.
Right.
So, I'm a fan, as
You are a fan.
as you are well aware.
You are a Little Mermaid.
I'm a Little Mermaid. I used to tell people that's what I was gonna be when I grew up.
You even got the thingies for your leggies.
The thingies for my leggies.
Yeah, the fin.
Oh, I do have a fin, yeah.
See?
Pretty nice. Thanks,
There
Mom.
you go.
I was just looking at my Little Mermaid Mickey Mouse ears from Disney World. So,
As you do.
as you do. It's just, within my vision at the moment. I can see it literally from where I'm
Right.
sitting. So I was like, aha, mermaid. And there's also like two things of Little Mermaid that I can see from where I sit at the moment.
Just
Casually.
a smidge of stuff, yeah.
Oh, wait, three. Sorry. Three things.
Yeah, come on, be accurate. We
Sorry.
need an accurate count here.
Sorry, there's more of it upstairs if you want me to count that.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the story. No matter how it is like presented, whether it's the Hans Christian Andersen version or if it's the Disney version. Like I like both.
Mhm.
I'm very,
Kingdom
very
Hearts
happy
version.
to. Oh God, why would you?
You know why.
Why would you?
But yeah, that's Bubble.
That's Bubble.
Buble.
I don't know. Had a little bit of like a revelation from this movie that is completely unrelated niche, but like made me like it quite a bit more than I probably would have otherwise.
Mhm.
But I don't know, like it's a fine movie. I don't love it. I like it. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I like it.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's an apt way to describe it. There you go.
I mean, is that your take on it too?
Yeah, I think that would be my take on it as well.
I mean, it's not like groundbreaking or like one of the best films I've ever seen, but it's also not terrible.
It's fine.
It's fine. I had a good time watching it.
There you go.
And it's so pretty.
Yes, that too.
And colorful.
Yes.
Yay.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode.
Booble.
Booble. If you'd like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool. It's where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Jared Now Watch. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Ann Ladium, go to annladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. You can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, A Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza, get access to unedited versions of the podcast early, and a whole wealth of bonus content as well.
Uh-huh.
Next week will be your first episode of June.
God, this year is zooming.
If you want to just feel like time is sneaking up on you.
Yeah, no kidding. We're like almost halfway through the year. We are
Yep.
halfway through the year, almost.
No,
Oh.
yeah, almost. Got a month for that to kick in.
Holy moly.
We'll talk about something else next week.
Yeah, I don't know what yet.
We'll figure it out.
Uh-huh.